Good morning, guys. It's another day. Today's Wednesday. Yeah. Anyway, breakfast number one. With gastroparesis, we have more than one breakfast, more than one lunch, and more than one dinner, and more than one dessert. Caramel slice last night was lovely. Cheers. Okay. I've got some things to do, but I'm a little at a loss. I'm thinking, okay, I'll tell you what I'm thinking about, because that might add a bit more context. Come with me. You're very not good at walking, are you? I think you need to go to a neurologist like I have to. Right. That tree. That one in the corner. Right, I'm going to get creative. Not right now, not on camera, because I can't perform in front of others with my creativity. That's why it's great when you're on stage and it just looks like darkness. There's so many lights shining in your face, you can't see. Because when I went to the Octagon a lot, which is in Netherlands, UWA, it's a very good performing place for, you know, for the kids that learn to perform the annual dancing concerts. And but it's in a round, so you've got people to the side of you and to the front of you. It's creepy, okay? And especially for people like me who are always the one doing the tricks, you know, the splits and the, because I was a very physical, yes, I was a very physically fit kid and adult when I was doing dancing, but very flexible. Los Danlos, paying for it now. Anyway, basically, if I would see someone, it would send me off. Like, as in, I'd go offline of what the next step is. And I was always the favourite at each dancing school. Not a good thing always as a child with anxiety, because it's like you've got this right, you've got this right. Because, you know, the person's thinking, you know, like the rest of them at the back there are kind of like, I know that they're going to mess up, but you, I know you're not going to. And you just look back at them and you're like, oh shit. Hope I'm having a good day today. I'm scared. It is a bit like coaching, like soccer and footy, okay? Okay, I'm still a bit ticky today. But basically it is a little bit like that. Like, you know, I remember telethon. I'm 16 and I'm an immature 16, autistic. So anyway, my dancing teacher, just as I'm going on, like after I had the high of like lying in those nice chairs where the newsreaders would used to go, and just we got our makeup. They took a week to get it off, the makeup they put on you for camera. And anyway, about to walk onto the area where all the little dots are, okay, with these intimidating cameramen on these, they look like motorbikes in the air, like what George Jetson would have, kind of thing. And they zoom in, zoom. I wanted to play on them. So as I'm waiting, I'm going, stop it, stop it, stop it, ADHD, stop it, because I'm thinking, how does that work? Can I have a turn? Hey, Channel 7, cameraman, can I just have a turn of your motorbike? That's not really a motorbike. Anyway. Look up, I think Channel 7 is such a beautiful bunch of people from my day when I was performing for them. They've actually got a YouTube channel when they talk about their experience of working there and all that. It's pretty cool. Very old Perth, but very cool. And it was great times back then, guys. It really was. It was epic. I used to do the Family Fun Days before the telethon was on. So Family Fun Day was on the Saturday, and the Saturday night, overnight, was telethon. So basically, yeah, she's like, you don't smile on camera. If I see the camera on your face and you're not smiling, I was just like, oh, you just used a non-verbal, which means you're speaking my language, which means that's really, I was like, oh, okay. I walk on stage. I'm like, yeah, no pressure already. There's just Channel 7 TV cameras on me. No pressure. That was just wonderful, boosting comment. Oh, I feel ready. I was terrified. Anyway, I was like, I got this, I got this, I got this, you know, psyched myself into it, and I had it. Okay, I always do. The only mistake I've ever made, and oh, hang on, one of them let me off because I was 3. I ran off stage. Every dancer has run off stage at one point. Normal. It actually means you're probably going to be the most successful dancer, is how I see it. Anyway, because you take it so seriously. But, yeah, we were doing Smooth Criminal, Michael Jackson. Had hats on, of course. Had to do the good old to the music, you know, multiple times as part of the routine. I mean, who doesn't have this move in the routine with their hat? Well, no, it's holding it. Okay, and anyway, I've got an excuse now, dance teacher. Not that she's listening. But basically, I got microcephaly, small head size. So we did have the elastic, like, that, you know the thin elastic of the party hats? Ouch. That's the elastic they use. So it's more invisible. And then we used to have to paint it with foundation, because it's white, to make it blend in with our skin. But do you know what? Us as, like, God, girls are bitchy. We used to go around, like, shit stirring each other, pinging it. And it's like, oh! And then your teacher's going, what's going on down there? And and anyway, like, we didn't have elastic for this routine. So I was like, oh shit. Okay, not a problem. So I kind of, somehow my mum and I think we padded something into the hat. So I was like, it keeps falling off when I practice and she's gonna kill me. And my mum's thinking, God, my daughter's so dramatic. That's what she's probably thinking. So dramatic. And it's like, no, my teacher has told me, you know, like, my whole dance career is over if this hat falls off my head. It is like Abby Lee. That is real. Anyway, so I thought, I've got to secure this hat. Didn't succeed because guess what? I go to do the lean, and I must have leant my head a little bit too much. I lost control of the hat. Now, I felt the hat slipping, and I heard it on the floor and had to keep doing the routine because you don't stop any wardrobe malfunction unless it's delicate areas, and then you must sometimes have to run off stage or just fixie, but that's rare. But basically, I was like, got to carry on, like nothing's happening, face of whatever it is. It's not always a smiling face, it depends on. Smooth Criminal's more of a serious face and more of a, oh, Michael Jackson face, whatever that is. Can't remember. But yeah, my hat fell off. And we get off stage, and I'm like trying to be last. Like, we're already off the side of the stage, and we're sort of walking off because the next girls are lining up to go. And I'm kind of walking along, and I'm like trying to be last, and I'm trying to duck down because the dance teacher's seeing us all. Because normally it's this thing of like, you walk past, and she's like, yeah, good job. No, you fucking sucked. No, you failed. You ruled. Amazing. What the hell happened? So I'm walking past, and she's like, we'll speak later. I was like, oh shit, that's the worst. I'd rather you say you failed or like you sucked. Like, why did you lose your hat? But no, it's like, we'll talk later. But I don't wanna. So I'm going backstage and I've got to do all this costume changing. You know, literally, you've only got minutes, some of us, especially when you're one of the favourites. It's like routine on, routine off, routine on, routine off. And by the end of the night, you're like, concert's finished. Oh, wow, that was quick. Whew. And everyone's like, that was epic, that was wonderful. And you go into the change room where everyone else gets to hang the most. And they've got the junk food and the fizzy drink. And it's like, I've been spending most of my time side stage being lectured. Maybe point that to a little bit extra. Okay. You know, like just standing there, right? Waiting to just go on the stage again when I'm like, look, I love dancing, don't get me wrong. But when you get higher and higher and higher, you do get to the point where you're like, can I just not? And I had my last concert, which was depressing to think about now, because I didn't think it was my last, but because I was very sick, I thought I was going to get better. It's a good joke, isn't it? Thought I was going to get better. Oh my God, yeah, no, I thought I was going to get better. I actually did think that I was going to get better in my life. Is this going to be normal? Nothing wrong with me. And anyway, I'm like, she's like, oh yeah, just do 2 routines. I'm like, no, it was 3 routines. I was like, yeah, sounds good to me. One was jazz, one was singing, which is singing and dancing in it. So theatre arts type style. And then the other one was tap. I was like, cool, not a problem. I know 4. We had to do the major one, which was 1 singular sensation. Oh yes, beautiful gold costumes all down. Steps and all, chorus shoes and all. Shit show. I was shitting myself because I thought, let's walk up the steps. So delicate. I'm gonna fucking fall. I'm gonna fucking fall. No, I'm gonna fall. And then I'm gonna take about 3 of the other girls with me. It didn't happen, luckily. That was all in my head. OCD can be a bitch. Anyway, but it's possible. Okay, they don't build these stairs too wide, and they're not too fancy steps. They're, you know, they're made by the dads. I'm just gonna say, it's a DIY project most of the time. And of course, in dancing, you can't show you're out of breath. You can't be like the football side where they're like, give my breath out. Feels good. Sniffing in the fresh air. No, you don't get to do that luxury. And even if you're the one standing still, right? You know, you're the one standing still while the other half of the team is dancing, and you're in a position and you've got to look like you're graceful, not out of breath, like that. Okay, you've got to be graceful. You know, it's not easy. Okay, you get off stage, you lie on the floor for the coolness of the floor, to absorb that coolness, and to that's how we all used to sound, because we were literally dying of lack of oxygen on stage. Not when I take a deep breath in. Anyway, you'd sneak one in every now and then. It's like, oh, I just succeeded. The rare times that I got to kind of be to the side, to the back, I was always front and center, but that was because I did start dancing very, very young. And I am a natural, but I put that down to, it's kind of in the blood. My nana's a qualified dance teacher from England. Okay, so it's in the blood. But basically, anyway, so that's sort of a bit of my dance history. So I love creativity. Anyway, moving on. This, I'm thinking of doing, because I have this beautiful, nice, and lots of it, don't know what to do with it. So let's go back in here. Oh good, he's fallen asleep because he's been a little shit today, haven't you? I love you so much, but oh my God, I'm sorry. Okay, he tried everything today. He tried to bungee jump down out of the building, literally, before we could get the window open to get some fresh air in this morning. Cheeky little bugger. We try and control that, but he's a kitten. And then he tries, which is where I need to show you an area anyway, because I need to show you the ribbon that I'm talking about of using on the tree. He tried to get up on this thin little, and I'm talking that shelf is only this wide, okay? It's tiny. It's literally, it's actually what they call a picture shelf, but I love that it's not obnoxiously in my way, okay? I live in apartment living, and it's convenient because I can have so many pretty things, but all I have to look for is pretty things in small size. Not that hard. So that ribbon on the white wooden pillar with the candle on top with Minnie Mouse. Gosh, I've had her for a while. She was a Christmas ornament that I took off the top and kept her as an ornament because I love Disney. And underneath, and I've had that candle for about 15 years. It's rhinestones. I mean, it's beautiful. It's pretty. And then that bow I put on there myself. So I've got a whole roll of it on cardboard that I could use in that tree. And I could put bows all over the tree. And I was thinking, it's kind of, I guess, a spiritual thing, but I was thinking maybe I can make prayers on each bow for each person. And of course, some of them are going to be you. And make prayer on each one of them. And try and remember each bow whose it is. But yeah, put some bows on there. Everyone can start their own tradition, can't they? Okay, I'm going to start my own tradition. Some people put lockets in Paris on the bridge. I mean, how do you know your locket's not going to be stolen if we don't live there? It's just not trustworthy. Oh my gosh, here's my other son, fluffy son. Right, so it's called Willow. What are you doing? All right, I'll leave you to it. Okay, that's perfectly fine, son. You can be who you want to be, and if you want to be a camping cat, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. That doesn't match. I didn't quite do the slow build up. But anyway, I wish I could get some tattoos, but it's a sin. I get so conflicted. Maybe religion really did mess me up. I don't know. But anyway, I would love to have different sayings in pretty writing written small on me, because anyway, but I'm old. So look, I've got EDS skin. I'm very lucky, but eventually the skin's gonna be, oh look, I'm hoping it will actually, because that means I've been here longer. So every wrinkle we're gonna celebrate, because that means I'm alive. Hang on, gotta finish. Gastroparesis patience. Doesn't come back up for me. Right kind of serving. I wish they're actually in adult sizes, though. I do. It's not all about the kids. People that have companies like this. Like, you could make these things for us adults on the run, or just spill proof need people like me because of my dyspraxia. It could be my Tourette's. It could be anything that someone could just end up flying to the side, flying in front of me, and everyone's like, oh, did that just happen? Yes, it just did. I think yes, the video, Sir pulled out the camera on me last night. So now that I'm exposed, yes, at IKEA I had a Tourette's attack, and it was humiliating. Coprolalia was involved, and it was very upsetting. My brain's basically broken. But what I found interesting was when Sir was pointing out to me, do you see the similarities with all you types of patients? Look at how she's got OCD in threes. You do everything in threes. I'm like, oh, I do. I remember even telling, I remember even talking about that with my psychiatrist, OCD. He was like, you know, you can have those thoughts that go round, as well as your organized OCD, like, mess things up a little, live a little. Taking the piss out of me. No, he's a very lovely man. And basically, he's like, you know, you just need to realize that you're doing that. And I speak in, like, I say sometimes things in threes. So if I ever do it on a video, comment below. And my beautiful friend, Kerry, who is blind, she has a master skill of hearing. So you, girlfriend, can definitely point out some of my things, because tell me when my Tourette's is starting to come in, because I need warning. Because if I go out in public again, like I did the other day, then makes me upset, actually. I'm not past it. Same if I'm seizuring, I don't go out. I'm too embarrassed. Seizures I'm less embarrassed of than Tourette's. But I guess because Tourette's has, you know, like I was saying in the other Tourette's video, like it had different names and it wasn't a trend on TikTok, which that's why in a way I'm sad about the trend on TikTok. And I know that a lot of the young ones are thinking, no, we've made a good headway with it. Yes and no. So yes, you have, but then there's also, that was my elbow. There's also that thing of spatial awareness, 0. You know, that now we're all sort of focused in on. But in a way, it's also good that in Australia, like I said, that we have this police card now, that national assistance card, which you list all of your, and look, you do have to have your reports from doctors and things. This one isn't like one that, you know, you need to get a lot of things prepared for it, but list everything. So if you've got Tourette's, even like me, mild, I mean, I don't know what Matt would say. I don't think he'd say it's mild, but I consider it mild. But everything's listed, and the first one, because it's a psychosocial one, which means I'm going to appear, my body language appears different to normal people, and I can't read other people's body language. And if a person touches me that I don't know, or suddenly, because I'm an autistic, and it's like, don't touch me because I need to be in control of that, you know, because as an autistic, it's just not natural for us. So we have to prepare ourselves to be hugged, I guess. And it's like, you know, if a police officer just grabbed me, right, even if it was maybe for my own safety in a situation, you know, I would freak out. Anxiety through 22q #1 and autism. It's like, you're a strange person touching me. I'd probably, us autistics react very, I guess, in our primate type reflexes. We do. And I'm not going to say you should be ashamed of that. That's what we are. We are very raw people. We're not, I guess if you say, if you want to look at us as like gemstones, right? There's gemstones that have been finely polished and, you know, they've really evolved because they've been given the right things to be like that and shiny and everything. And then there's some of us that are just raw. And we're not shiny as much because we haven't been through a process. We're just raw. And so we react rawly. So basically, if someone grabbed me, I'd just be like, and they'd be on the ground. Because it's instinct. It's like, if this is like, this feels like a fight scenario, and I feel like my poor brother. Because if he even just like touched me by accident, I would go, whoa. And he'd go, what'd you do that for? You were hitting me, not on purpose. Even things like that would happen, okay? So we don't react to scenarios the same way as others. And that can be misunderstood. And now that we're all getting educated on it, yay. This is what the police are now doing, which I guess is maybe they've finished their education. I know that in Australia, government workers and people in certain industries have to be autism trained now, and I think that's wonderful. But I'm assuming this is part of it, because the majority of people with autism have coexisting conditions like OCD, Tourette's, seizures, POTS, EDS. Those are all actual links at the moment. If you look at the research, and 80% of us have ADHD, look it up if you don't believe me. The empirical scientific research is out there, and it is getting stronger of all of these links. It doesn't mean that if you have autism you have something else, but you're probably going to have at least one thing else. Yeah. And you might even have comorbidities, which is medical conditions that you really should be aware of, because that is like early intervention's key, treatments are key. Not that that's happening for me, as we know. But that's another story, another video, and we've got more, we've had videos on that. But basically, yeah, a lot of people with autism, and this is just my personal belief on the science that I've looked at, and then when I do a critique, I'm seeing a pattern of a lot of autistics that, and genetics isn't there yet. That's why also it's not ready yet. So there's syndromes behind a lot of us. Just some people's syndromes either haven't been tested for, they've never thought about it, especially in Australia because we're stupid. In medical, we're stupid. And then second, there's some genetic syndromes that they don't even have maybe the markers for in the blood. I don't know. But there's a long way to go even with genetics, even though we've come a long way. But my autism comes from 22q. And there is a lot of people with syndromes that have autism. So I do believe that if you're an autistic and you have the money, I would get tested for syndromes, or I would just see a geneticist, because really what you're meant to do, and this is how the system works, is you go to the, unless you're being sent because someone in your family has a specific syndrome, but that doesn't mean they won't check you for others. Maybe, I don't know. But if you go clean, as in, like I went in with no family history. I go in, I had to have massive, extensive family history. Well, does include family history of what I knew of, but not what I didn't, because I didn't know much at all. But basically mainly about my medical history from the day I can remember, of everything I went through from childhood till right then and there, and in fine detail. And then she's measuring my head and measuring like all sorts of parts of my body, and then she starts to organise, writing up what tests she wants done. Sir, what are we doing? Torturing the brother? So he's behind the curtain and okay, you're gonna steal his octopus. You're gonna steal his octopus. He's got all the other sea creatures. I already gave Willow the octopus because he's... Oh, and the whale. You've got the killer whale too, Willow. You cheeky bugger. Okay, well, I'll leave you two to sort that out. Look at them both. Okay, don't sit on his head. Okay, brothers. Okay? Sharing is caring. Not. Be nice, Max, to your brother. Be nice. No biting involved. He goes for the jugular. He's like, you know, and that's the kill with tigers, lions, cats. Okay? If another cat's biting another cat on its throat, you must intervene. That is the kill zone. Not to say that they're not going to be doing it to play fight. 2 seconds. I've got to get him down. Okay, so I just got him down. He's just standing there looking at me. I threw a few more toys to him to see if that will entice him to have some fun. Your brother's getting ready to sleep. He's done his morning routine. My cats have a morning routine too. They have a better morning routine than me. I don't know, since I've moved, that I've yet still developed a morning routine. Except for coffee. I mean, don't talk to me, coffee. Like, poor Matt every morning, it's like, he'll do all these different things. I mean, he runs around like a headless chook. Like, he's just so on the go with so many things. And he's got OCD like me, so he does everything all very particular. And I'm like, yeah, no, skip that bit. No, skip that bit, just coffee. Coffee. But no, he does his routine, and I'm like, huh, you know, coffee first, then the rest. You might even get some assistance, because my coffee is my petrol. If I don't have my coffee, I can't run. I don't run. I used to run. Used to love that. But I can't. Good for ADHD. Running is good for ADHD. I mean, I remember when I went to the gym, yeah, I was one of those people that the PTs would come up to me, because they all knew me from when I first started, because it was a brand new gym. And so the deal was good when we signed up. But anyway, they'd come up to me and they'd be like, sixth day of the week you've been here, you're overtraining. And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to take it easy. This is the dancey one, the fun one, you know, so I'm just doing this for fun, you know. And he's like, no. He's looking at me like, no. His bitch is lying to me. And he's like, yo, just take it easy. Like, take a day off. So I'm that kind of person. I actually am a person who needs physical activity. But isn't it ironic that I end up with fatigue? Like I said to my geneticist when I was diagnosed, the first question was, how can I get rid of the fatigue? That's my main problem. She's like, 22q syndrome and your list of symptoms and diagnosis, they're all very fatiguing. There's nothing, I'm sorry. And she didn't sound very sorry, but she's not being mean, it's just, she's just doctoring. But I'm just saying, like, I was just like, once we'd put down the phone or gone off the Zoom, it's like, oh, that's just not what I want to hear, because I'm a person that wants to be active. Anyway, we all have our cross to bear, don't we? And anyone out there doing it tough, Max, get down. All you're doing is being annoying today. I don't know what it is. It's hard to be annoyed at him that much though, because he's so cute. But he is just, he tried to get up there and he's just, I don't know what's with him. Don't know what's with him. He's waiting for his staff to arrive. Like it's his staff. Sir's having a conference meeting downstairs in the conference room. Sorry he's not here. But he did have a hot chocolate with me. These non-coffee drinkers. I don't know, they're foreigners to me. Foreigners. Okay? Speak English. I don't understand you. You're not drinking coffee. Until you drink coffee, you're not. I'm not going to speak to you. I should try that. Anyway. I don't think anyone agrees with being a non-coffee drinker. So, I'm going to go. Max has settled down. He's just lying looking at my bath for some reason. What's there, Bubba? Hey? You just chilling? You're getting tired, aren't you? Hasn't he grown so much? He's grown so much. So much. It's amazing. Like, but he does eat a lot. He's a good eater. And the new clock is looking stunning. I don't know whether have you seen that? The new clock? Look at, hang on, let me just show you properly. The new clock is nice, oops, nicely placed. And, yeah, one of my carers yesterday, she's like, oh, I love that clock. And I was like, yeah, Shein. She just giggled. I think they all know that. I think, like, when I say, because sometimes when they come in, I'll say, oh, there's a few deliveries today. I bet you they're thinking, oh, it's going to be Shein, but it's not always. There's medical supplies. There's many other things that I have come in the mail, basically. But, yeah, it is a lot of Shein. But, like I said before, guys, times are tough, and you deserve treats. And set yourself a budget for you for clothing. Don't, just because you're disabled doesn't mean you don't deserve to dress nice. But I know that we can't afford to go buy things in normal shops. And I know what that's like. And I know what it's like, you know, when you're stressed about the car breaking down or you're stressed about your fridge breaking. I know those stresses on a pension. And so I know people say buy local, and it's just not what all of us can do. And so Shein for me has given me, I guess, the feeling of I can still dress nice, because that's how I was raised, is to present yourself well. It's a discipline thing. It's not a vanity thing. It's called discipline. You know, presentation is a lot, and you know, taking self-pride as well, I think, is important. Even your house being nice. Taking pride in your environment. I mean, I look after, and I have with every house I've been in, I look after it like it's my own. I take great pride. I see a mark on the wall, I'm like, no! You know, because I take pride in everything, because I've been a very poor person, even though I wasn't really poor because the people around me were wealthy to save us. But I have been a person with a mattress on the floor, a sleeping bag, and a shoebox of just junk. that's how I grew up. And I used to go to other little girls' rooms that were beautiful and designed and, you know, all the atypical little girl rooms. And, yeah, I just didn't have that for most of my childhood. And, you know, it's just, I appreciate being an adult, and like all of you adults, and most of you have had it since a child, but for me, I appreciate a $1 pen that I bought because it's pretty. I will take care of it as if it's some high carat gold, because I appreciate what I've got. Every little thing I appreciate. And if I was to lose everything tomorrow, so be it. I have lived out of a suitcase in my childhood. I have experienced that. So I know that the world won't end if that happens. I mean, it's certainly, there's a little bit of grief. I mean, don't be those people that go, oh, I'm going to do van life and get rid of everything I've ever owned. You will have some grief for some sentimental things. It's not all about materialism, it's sentimental things. So don't lie to yourself and say that. There is emotions involved in things because sometimes there's memories and all the rest of it. It's sentimental. And I'm a very sentimental person, so there are some things in my house that are, gosh, they could be broken and I'll be so devastated, and it could be something that cost like $2 15 years ago, but to me, there's a memory or memories behind it. So anyway, let me know if you are a person that loves to, you know, keep certain items. Like I've got some items in my home, not as many as before, because I've intentionally gotten rid of the old to bring in the new, because my life is just nothing like 2020. My life changed in 2020 in a drastic, ridiculously stupid, over the top way. Which was totally unnecessary and has totally been something that I think a lot of people are going to regret, but is out of my control. But life has just turned weird. People out there are weird. As you've seen from my post when we went to IKEA and we were coming home, we were just one street away from our home. We had 2 black cars and we had not much sideway to get off. And most of these houses, all these mansions with brick walls, there's nowhere to really go. And we had 2 black cars, really like expensive cars that can drive very fast, speeding right for us, all of a sudden, with hardly any time for us to get out the way. These people were racing each other. There was some kind of incident between these 2 people. And I'm telling you, my life flashed before my eyes. Like, just be careful, guys, in Australia. I'm not kidding. There's stuff that the news isn't even talking about. And I live in a well-off area. This is in South Perth. This is in an area that rich people live. I'm not rich, but rich people live, okay? And these people were just, they lost their minds. They lost their minds. So just, and if it's happening around you too, be careful. Like, this world is not the same. People are so full of apathy. They don't give a shit about other people. They're being selfish, reckless. They act like there's just no consequences. They don't care about what they're doing on a daily basis. Like, there's just really bad things going on. Just pay attention. I'm not saying be paranoid and extremism and all the rest of it, but just take care. Because we were in a safe street that's meant to be 50 kilometers per hour. And I'm telling you, we were seconds away from being hit from probably these cars were going 100 kilometers an hour. Maybe a bit over. And if that hit us head on and we're doing about 50, 60 maybe, because we were going down a hill, so we could have been doing 60 meeting 100, I don't know, head on, I don't know. It was seconds away from that. So anyway, be careful. And if you want to know more about Australian driving at the moment, or you in Australia, you want to know the reality, look at Dashcams Australia, okay? And Perth drivers are the worst. I'm Perth born, but I'm going to admit it. Have a great day. You're worthy. You are loved because you have me, at least. And if you have anyone else on your list, great. But anyway, have a good one. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.